Begin with the final tale. Detective for the hire. My new client was waiting for me as I staggered into the office at noon. Whiskey and Heather from the Pink Parrot mixed badly. I was paying for it with a monster hangover and a significantly lighter wallet. But I'll be seeing her again tomorrow night, God willing. The smell of acetone filled the space. My receptionist, in her usual efficiency, busied herself redoing her nails and ignoring my waiting client. She has an uncanny knack for both. Multitasking, I think they call it. Been waiting long, I asked? Just the usual, my receptionist answered, mistakenly believing I was addressing her. She handed me half a cup of fresh coffee without looking up as I waved the client back into my private office. He followed me in. Been waiting long? I used the same question for filler as I reached into my desk drawer for 2 aspirin and a bottle of bourbon to wash it down. The spirits were my only drinking buddies today. I've been waiting since 10, but I was warned you weren't a morning person. Jimmy Z told me how you helped him. I nodded. Jimmy Z had been an unusual client with unusual circumstances. I've gotten a lot of referral from his friends. My new client paused, staring at the open door. Will she over here? She's blind and deaf to my clients. That's why I keep her, to answer phones and handle the mail. And she has a nice rack, he said. And she has a nice rack, I agreed. So what can I do for you, Mr. Thompson? Paul Thompson. I need you to check on my wife's boyfriend. Wife's boyfriend? Said out loud, it has a certain palpable irony to it, especially when said by the husband. I think he may have less than honorable intentions. She came into an inheritance about a year ago. She's in love with him. Love. Most people don't know the true meaning of the word. They say that they love pistachio ice cream, or the Philadelphia Eagles, or their overpriced Mercedes, all with the same intonation that they say they love a spouse or parent. Open-minded of you to let her have a boyfriend. We're not together, but that doesn't mean I don't love her. I want her to be safe. Says every ex-husband / stalker / murderer. Guys like this are transparent to me, but I understand the need for safe. My sister died from a deranged asshole stalking her. I couldn't protect her. Now I spend my life trying to protect people from one another without the constraints of the law. The aches and physical scars from bullets and being thrown down flights of stairs remind me how hard a job it can be sometimes. I won't track him so you can kill him. I'm not that kind of Seamus or fool. It's not about that. I only want her safe. I stare at him. With the exception of the serial killer homicides in 2009, I'm a pretty good judge of character. I'm not spiritual, but I see auras others can't. His is white. I believe him. So I take the case and give him my terms. He agrees and departs without leaving a retainer. My secretary is putting a second coat on her nails and doesn't seem to notice his exit. But she does have a nice rack. So I gather my gear. 6 hours and a bit of detective work later, I'm watching the gigolo from a hidden spot, wooing a different middle-aged woman, hand-holding romantic whispers at the most expensive restaurant in town. I know his type. Good-looking, smooth-talking guy who preys on the lonely. Takes her for everything she has, then walks away. You don't need to kill people to make them die inside. I fill the card of my digital camera with photos of his escapades, but I won't need them. My chance comes as he walks into the men's room. I break the normal PI rules and make direct contact, a sucker punch to the jaw, and he folds like a house of cards. He sits in a crumpled heap against the wall, staring at me in something between anger and fear. You're going to disappear from Mrs. Thompson's life as of now. Poof, like a ghost. You ain't got no right. No, but I do have a right hook you know about and a cult that you don't. And I know where to hide bodies where they don't show up for years. My perp looked down and saw his blood staining his designer shirt, and then splatters of it on the ground beneath him. She wasn't worth it anyway. Bad cook and always yammering on about her husband. You'd think they were still married. As long as we are crystal clear, and if I discover you doing this to anyone else, I let my voice fade and tap the bulk on my right hip before walking away. Back in the office, the smell of acetone had dissipated and been replaced by Chinese takeout. Thompson was once again waiting, my secretary in her same seat ignoring him once again. He follows me into my office. I found him and convinced him to leave your wife alone. He'll disappear from her life. She'll be hurt when he never returns her calls, but not physically. She's safe. Thompson smiled. Sometimes that's the best we can hope for. You did good. I have to go, but there's someone else here to see you. That's when she glided in the room. Hello, Benny. It was my sister's voice. She looks like she hadn't aged at all in the 10 years since. She's the one spirit I can't get to seem to visit me on her own. Hi, Gwen. Long time no, she interrupts my welcome. It wasn't your fault, you know. You say that, but I have a better view of this than you do. You're doing good work, helping those who can't help themselves. It's time for you to let it go. But I introduced you to him. You couldn't know. You didn't make him do what he did to me or any of the other girls. It's one of those things about life. Her ironic use of the word life seemed to hang between us longer than the rest. You did stop him in the end, but not in time to save you. Don't diminish what you've done and continue to do. She smiled. I saw you today. Nice sucker punch. You watch? Then why don't you, because you're there and I'm here, and little good can come of belaboring it. Then why am I here today? I thought coming this once might make you feel better. I reached into the drawer for the bourbon and poured myself a shot. I love you, I said. I love you too. And then she faded away. You talking to yourself again, boss? My secretary called to me from her desk. Was I? I didn't realize. I walked out to her. In the waiting chair was a nicely dressed 40-ish woman with a large handbag and sad eyes. Jimmy Z recommended you. He said you could help. I waved her back to my office as my secretary had her nose buried in a detective magazine, ignoring us both. Thank you very much for tonight. Authors, make sure you sign the poster in the back.